At 1:12 a.m., my phone lit up like it was trying to warn me. Not a call, not a text. A story notification from the Bachelorette group Haley had invited me to follow, so you won't worry. She'd said it with a smile, like trust was a gift she could wrap. I was in our bed, on my side, the room dark except for the red digits on the alarm clock and the faint glow of the city outside the blinds. The apartment smelled like the rosemary candle Haley loved, and the clean sheets she insisted we wash every Sunday. Little routines that made us look like a life. I tapped the story. Bass slammed into my ears. Laughter, a glass clink, someone yelling "bride" like it was an anthem. The video wobbled across a rooftop bar in the city, all neon and wet pavement and wind-whipped hair. The girls were packed together, glitter on their cheeks, plastic crowns, cheap champagne. And Haley, right in the middle, wearing a white sash that said "bride" in letters that looked too loud for the night. She caught the camera and blew a kiss. She looked happy, alive, like nothing could touch her. Then a man's hand slid around her waist. It wasn't a bump in the crowd. It wasn't an accidental brush. It was a steady grip, a thumb pressing in like he knew the shape of her. She leaned back into it, casual, comfortable. My stomach went quiet. The camera swung and caught him. Broad shoulders, fitted jacket, a clean watch that flashed under the bar's lights. His mouth was at her ear. Haley laughed, her smile turning small and private, the way it used to be when she'd whisper something in my neck and we'd both pretend the world didn't exist. And then she turned her face and kissed him. Not a quick peck, not a drunk joke. Her hand went up to his jaw. She kissed him like she'd been saving up the hunger. My fingers went cold around the phone. I could have swiped away. I could have called her. I could have texted something that would make her panic and lie faster. I could have done the loud thing. Instead, I hit record. Screen recording. The red dot in the corner. The timestamp. Proof, captured clean and stupid and perfect. I watched the clip through once, then again. Not because I liked pain, because I needed the truth to hold still long enough for me to grab it. A text popped up while I was still staring at her mouth on his. My fiancée. Heading to bed. Love you. I stared at the words until they stopped being words and turned into weather. I typed back with my hands steady. Me. Night. Get home safe. Then I set the phone down on the nightstand like it was a tool, because it was. I work as an insurance risk investigator. People think that means I sit in a gray cubicle and fight with spreadsheets. Some days I do. But the real job is this. People tell you a story, and you look for the parts that don't match the receipts. In the dark, listening to the building settle and a far-off siren fade down the street, I felt something inside me click. Not a break. Breaks are loud and messy. This was a latch closing. By 8:03 a.m., the wedding still existed on paper. In reality, it was already gone. Haley came home at 10:17 a.m. the next day, sunglasses on, hoodie up, moving like she could hide behind fabric. She kissed my cheek like she hadn't put her mouth on another man hours earlier. Her lipstick was gone, but there was still glitter in her hair, the kind that never truly leaves once it's found a place to cling. God, she said, stretching like a cat, I am never drinking again. You say that every time, I said. She laughed, because it's true every time. She dropped her overnight bag by the door and went straight to the kitchen, opening the fridge like the cold air could erase whatever heat she'd left in a hotel room or under neon. Do we have anything that isn't sad? She asked. We have eggs. No, I'm ordering brunch. She pulled her phone out. The screen reflected in the window, and for a second, I saw my own face in it. A guy in a sweatshirt with eyes too awake, trying to look normal in a room where normal had gone last night. I didn't confront her. Confrontations are fireworks, bright, loud, gone fast. I needed a flood. While she showered, I sat at the dining table with my laptop and did what my job trained me to do. Step 1, confirm the timeline. Our phone plan is in my name. I logged in and pulled up the usage details. A number I didn't recognize kept showing up. Calls and texts late at night, starting at 9:48 p.m., running past midnight. Not her mom, not her bridesmaids, not the car service. I copied the number. Reverse lookup returned a carrier and a city. No name. Fine. Step 2, corroborate. Haley insisted we share photo backup. No secrets, she'd said when we connected our devices after the engagement. She loved the idea that our lives were stitched together by a cloud. The Bachelorette photos loaded into the shared stream one by one, like little bullets. Cocktails on a rooftop. A blurry shot of a DJ booth. A bathroom mirror photo with Haley's sash crooked and her mascara smudged. Then a clearer one. Haley laughing, a man behind her with his chin near her shoulder and his hand planted on her hip. Same watch, same grip. He looked right at the camera, like he wasn't worried about consequences. Step 3, secure. I saved the screen recording. I saved the photos. I exported a copy to a thumb drive from my desk drawer, the same kind we use at work when a client swears they never got that email. I labeled it with the date, because when people start rewriting history, dates are anchors. Haley came out of the shower with her hair wrapped in a towel and leaned against the doorway, watching me. "Work stuff?" she asked. "Yeah," I said, "clearing something up." She walked over and kissed the top of my head. "You're cute when you're serious." The words landed wrong, like a joke told in a funeral home. My email chimed, from Marla Dent, Lakeside Manor Events. Subject, final vendor confirmation, Hale, Grant Wedding. My phone rang right after. Caller ID, Lakeside Manor. I stared at it. Then I answered, because ignoring reality doesn't make it go away. "Hello," I said. Marla's voice was crisp and calm. "Hi, Evan. Quick question. Haley emailed a seating chart change last night, and I wanted to confirm it with you." Last night. While she was heading to bed. While she was kissing him. I glanced at Haley's bag by the door, the way it sat there like nothing special. "No changes," I said. A pause. "Oh, okay. I can mark that as a mistake." "It wasn't a mistake," I said. Silence, gentle and professional. Marla knew how to hold it. I lowered my voice. "Marla, I need to cancel." Marla didn't gasp. She didn't ask if I was sure. People in the wedding business see implosions the way bartenders see drunks. They learn to keep their faces neutral. "All right," she said. "We can discuss cancellation terms. The deposit clause applies." "I know," I said, opening our contract PDF. My signature sat there like a smug joke from 6 months ago. Non-refundable deposit. 30 days out, balance due unless you rebook. "We can try to rebook," Marla said. "September is popular." "Please do," I said. "And send me cancellation paperwork today. Don't copy Haley yet." Marla's voice softened a fraction. "Understood. I'll email within the hour." I ended the call and sat there with my hands flat on the table. My heart wasn't racing. It should have been. But the latch inside me was locked. I called Jordan Pike. Jordan is the kind of friend who doesn't make you beg for help. He just shows up, sleeves rolled, ready to lift whatever needs lifting. He'd been the first guy to meet Haley when I brought her to the bar where we used to watch games. He'd toasted our engagement with cheap champagne and a grin. "Hey," he said, "I need you to do me a favor," I said. "Okay, you sound tight. What's up?" "I watched Haley cheat last night," I said. "I have video. I need you to screenshot anything she posts today. Stories, posts, comments, anything." Jordan went silent. Then, quietly, "Are you sure?" "I'm sure." His breath came out slow. "Okay, tell me what you need. I'm in." After that, I started calling vendors. DJ, caterer, florist, photographer, hotel block. Each call was polite. Each call was short. Plans changed, I said. Yes, I understand the deposit is non-refundable. No, I don't want to reschedule. I lost money with every hang-up. It stung. But money is replaceable. Trust isn't. Haley wandered into the kitchen eating avocado toast like the world was normal. You're being weird, she said, chewing. Are you mad at me? I'm tired, I said. She nodded like she believed me because believing me was easier than looking in a mirror. At 2:07 p.m., Marla emailed the cancellation documents. At 2:09 p.m., I signed. At 2:11 p.m., I sent them back. At 2:30 p.m., I drove to Lakeside Manor in person because e-signatures are one thing, and walking into the place you plan to say I do is another. The sky was low and gray, rain falling like it couldn't decide if it wanted to be a storm. Lakeside Manor sat by the water, all old wood and wedding marketing. In the lobby, couples were touring with hopeful eyes. Marla met me at the desk with a folder. Sharp eyes, calm face. You sure? She asked quietly. I signed the last page. Yes. The pen scratched. My name looked the same as it always did. The man writing it did not. When I left, I didn't look back at the ballroom. It was just a room now. That night, at 9:23 p.m., Jordan texted me a screenshot. Kelsey Rourke, Haley's maid of honor, had posted Bride Tribe Forever. Haley in the center, smiling wide, and there he was again, tucked close, hand on her waist like he'd never heard the word fiancé in his life. And at the exact same time, Marla's cancellation email hit Haley's inbox. Haley's laugh in the kitchen cut off mid-syllable. What the hell is this? She shouted. I stood up, slow and steady, and walked toward her. The consequences were no longer in motion. They were in the room. Haley came into the living room with her phone out in front of her like it was evidence and a weapon at the same time. Her cheeks were blotchy. Her eyes were too bright. The hangover was gone now, replaced by panic. Did you cancel the venue? She snapped. I did, I said. Her mouth fell open. Why would you do that? Because there isn't going to be a wedding, I said. Haley laughed like I'd told a bad joke. Stop. You're being dramatic. I'm being accurate. She stepped closer, trying to fill the space with her body the way she used to when she wanted me to stop talking. If this is about my bachelorette party, you are seriously overreacting. Everyone was drunk. The girls were hyping me up. It was just... I set my phone on the counter and tapped the screen. A still frame filled it. Neon, her face tilted, her mouth on his hand on her waist. A moment frozen so clean it looked staged. The room went quiet in a way that made my ears ring. Haley stared at the screen, then at me, then back at the screen. How did you get that? She whispered. I watched it live, I said. Your friends posted it. I recorded it. Her throat moved. It didn't mean anything. It meant something to you, I said. You leaned into him. Her face twisted, anger trying to cover fear. So you were spying on me? I was your fiancé, I said. In our bed. While you did that. Haley grabbed the phone, fingers shaking. She stared at it like she could will it into another reality. Then she slapped it down on the counter. Okay, fine. Maybe it was flirting, maybe it was stupid. One kiss, but you canceling everything? That's insane. The contracts are in my name, I said. Her eyes flashed. Because you insisted, you always need control. There it was. The flip. Turn her choice into my flaw. I nodded once like I was taking notes. Say his name. Haley blinked. What? Say his name, I repeated. She hesitated, just a breath. But a name isn't heavy unless there's history. Trent, she said barely above a whisper. I let it sit between us. Trent. Haley's voice rose. He's nobody. He's just a guy. A friend of a friend. It was a dare. If he's nobody, I said, you won't mind if I talk to him. Haley went pale. No, don't. Evan, don't do that. You're going to make this worse. Worse than you kissing him on camera? I asked. She opened her mouth and then closed it. No line ready, no script. Her phone buzzed again and again. Group chats, calls, her mom, bridesmaids, Kelsey trying to manage the story. Haley shoved her phone toward me. Do you know what you're doing? People are going to think I'm some kind of... She stopped because she couldn't say it without admitting it. People are going to think what they saw, I said. Tears filled her eyes, and for a second I saw the woman I loved, the one who cried at dog rescue videos, the one who held my hand through my father's surgery. Then the mask came back. You can't do this without talking to me, she hissed. I already did talk to you, I said. Last night. You just weren't listening. She stared like she wanted to slap me. Instead, she tried soft. Evan, she said, lowering her voice, we can fix this. It was a mistake. Then tell the truth, I said. I am telling the truth, she snapped. No, I said, you're telling the version that keeps you comfortable. I grabbed my keys and jacket. Haley followed me to the door. Where are you going? She demanded. To see Trent, I said, her eyes widened. Don't, please. I paused with my hand on the knob. Tell him to be honest tonight. It'll save him trouble. What trouble? She whispered. I opened the door and let the cold hallway air hit my face. That depends on him, I said. Then I left before she could trap me in another conversation. Outside, rain fell harder, like the sky had finally decided. I drove toward the office park where Trent worked, feeling my pulse finally show up. Not as rage, as focus. The office park sat at the edge of town like it had been dropped there by someone who didn't care if it fit. Glass fronts, fake landscaping, empty promises. I parked across the lot and waited. 6:15 p.m. Mist hung in the air, the kind of weather that makes people sloppy because everything feels softened. Trent came out at 6:27, phone to his ear, laughing. He walked with that loose confidence of a man who's never had to pay for his own arrogance. He headed for a black sedan with a company logo on the door. I started my car and rolled up slow until I was behind him, not blocking him in like a maniac, just close enough to be real. He turned. His smile faltered when he saw me. I stepped out and closed my door quietly. My shoes hit wet asphalt. Can I help you? He called. My name is Evan, I said. Haley Grant's fiancé. The word fiancé did something to his face, a flicker. Then he tried for a laugh. Man, he said, spreading his hands. I don't know what you're talking about. Sure you do, I said. I pulled my phone out and opened the recording. I didn't shove it at him. I let the glow exist between us. His throat moved. Look, whatever you think you saw, I saw you kiss her, I said, and I saw her kiss you back. He snorted like I was the problem. It was a party. People get carried away. You didn't look carried away, I said. You looked comfortable. Trent's eyes narrowed. You're making a big deal out of nothing. It's not nothing to me, I said, and I'm not here to throw punches. I'm here to make something clear. He glanced around. A couple employees walked past. A security camera blinked above the entrance. Good. I wanted witnesses. I wanted the story to have friction. I pulled a plain white envelope from my pocket and slid it under his windshield wiper. What's that? He asked. A printed screen grab, I said. Date and time, and one sentence. Trent stared at it like it might bite him. What sentence? You have until tonight to tell her the truth, I said. If you don't, the person you're lying to hears it from me. Who? He snapped. The person who matters most to you, I said. Trent's jaw clenched. You can't threaten me. I'm not threatening you, I said. I'm offering you a chance to do the right thing before you get dragged by the wrong one. He stepped closer, chest puffed, trying to make me feel small. You think you're some hero? I'm not a hero, I said. I'm just organized. That made him madder than yelling would have. He shoved my shoulder, hard enough to show he wanted control. I stepped back with my hands up, loud enough for the passing employees to hear. Easy, I said. Trent froze when he realized people were watching. He forced a laugh. You're crazy, man. Maybe, I said, but I'm not the one kissing someone else's fiancée on camera. He looked away like the truth hurt his eyes. Then he leaned in and lowered his voice. You think she's the only one lying to you? He whispered. My ribs tightened. What does that mean? I asked. Trent's eyes flicked to the camera above the entrance. He straightened, voice louder again. Forget it. Just go home. He yanked the envelope off his wiper and crumpled it in his fist. As he backed out, he rolled down his window just enough to spit one more sentence. Ask her about the ring. Then he drove off. I stood there in the mist, watching his tail lights disappear, and realized the betrayal had layers. Haley had kissed him, but Trent was acting like he had leverage. That meant Haley had given him more than a night. Or she'd been planning something he wasn't supposed to know. I drove home with that sentence burning in my head. Ask her about the ring. Haley didn't answer when I called. She let it ring out like silence could undo evidence. When I got home, she was on the couch with her knees hugged to her chest, waiting like a defendant who thought crying would count as testimony. You went to see him, she said. Yes, I said, taking off my jacket. What did you say? She demanded. I told him to tell the truth, I said. Her laugh was sharp. You have no right. I had a future planned, I said. You want to talk about rights? She flinched, then snapped back. Stop acting like I'm a monster. I'm not acting, I said. Her phone buzzed. Kelsey. Haley declined it without looking. That wasn't comfort. That was control calling to check the leash. Why did you cancel everything before talking to me? She asked, voice rising. Are you trying to ruin me? I'm trying to stop bleeding out, I said. Haley stood and paced. It was a mistake. It wasn't anything physical. It was one stupid kiss. I opened my laptop and pulled up the email chain. You emailed Marla at 1:40 a.m. changing seating. Haley's face twitched. Kelsey told me to. She said it would be funny to move your cousin away from my dad because he talks too much. It was stupid. It wasn't the only thing you did, I said. She stopped. What else? I looked at her left hand. No ring. Where is the ring? I asked. Haley's eyes flashed. Are you serious? That's what you care about right now? Yes, I said. Where is it? It's safe, she snapped. Where? I asked again. A beat. Then, at Kelsey's. She has a safe. The answer came too fast, too neat. I sat down and opened my banking app. Not because I wanted to be dramatic, because I wanted to check if my instincts were right. There it was. Rent autopay rerouted 2 weeks ago from my account to the joint wedding account Haley had opened. A new mailing address tied to it, a P.O. box. And the notification email was set to Kelsey's. My ears rang. Why is Kelsey's email on our rent notifications? I asked. Haley went still. Then she sat down hard like her knees gave up. I can explain, she whispered. Go ahead, I said. She pressed her fingers to her forehead. Kelsey said we should have a backup plan. Just in case. Just in case what? I asked. Her voice dropped. Just in case you reacted badly if things changed. I stared at her. Things didn't change. You changed. Tears filled her eyes, but her jaw was tight. I was stressed. I was scared. The wedding, the money, everything. Kelsey said we should protect ourselves. From me, I said. She didn't deny it. The betrayal shifted shape. It wasn't just a kiss. It was planning. Quiet logistics. A door built behind my back. Her phone buzzed again. Kelsey. Haley answered this time. Kelsey, she said, voice shaking. It's happening. He knows. She listened, nodded, and her face hardened. Okay, she said. I'm coming now. She hung up, stood, grabbed her purse. Where are you going? I asked. To get my ring and my things, she said. And to fix this narrative before you destroy my life. Narrative. Not marriage, not love. Narrative. She walked out. I didn't grab her. I didn't shout. I just followed, because the last pieces of leverage were leaving the apartment with her. Outside, the rain turned into a real storm, thick sheets that made headlights smear. Haley drove fast. So did I. I didn't chase Haley right away. I sat in my car with my hands on the wheel and reminded myself of the rule that matters when people are lying. Don't play their game. Change the board. I called Jordan. He answered breathless. Bro, your phone. Kelsey's posting like she's running a press conference. Haley's resharing it. People are already acting like you're the villain. Tell me what you see, I said. Quotes, he said. Protect your peace. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And she's cropping the guy out of the background like she's editing the truth in real time. But I caught him in 3 frames, same watch. Screenshot everything, I said. Stories, comments, anything she deletes later. I'm on it, Jordan said. Then softer. You okay? I'm functioning, I said. That's what I have. I watched rain slide down my windshield in thick lines. The town looked washed out, like a photo left in the sun too long. I used to think that meant safe. Now I knew better. My phone buzzed. My mother. I didn't answer. If I heard her voice right then, I'd crack and say something useless. This wasn't the hour for feelings. It was the hour for receipts. I called Dana Holloway next. Dana is the attorney you hire when you want clean lines drawn around a mess. She answered like she already knew the day was going to turn. Do I have a problem if my fiancé drains the joint wedding account and claims I'm controlling? I asked. Only if you get emotional in writing, Dana said. Do you have proof? Video, photos, call logs, and she rerouted rent autopay to the joint account with her friend's email attached. Dana paused. Her friend's email? Kelsey, I said. Document it, Dana said. Don't threaten anyone. Don't touch her accounts. If she wants a victim story, don't hand her the script. Keep it boring. Keep it precise. What about the lease? I asked. Don't change locks, Dana said. Offer access for her personal property. Use a witness if possible. And freeze your credit tonight. People in panic do dumb things. I did it while she talked, thumbs moving over my screen like muscle memory. Dana added, and if you recover the ring without trespassing, keep it. In many places, an engagement ring is conditional on marriage. I swallowed. Got it. Call me if anything escalates, she said. And don't send any texts you wouldn't want read aloud. I hung up and checked the bank app again, deeper this time. Small transfers out of the joint account. Frequent, careful. Not dramatic enough for a crime show, but enough to matter when the rent is due and someone decides to disappear. Then I checked the phone log and ran that unknown number with one more detail. A business listing popped up. Barrow & Co., storage auctions and antiques. The shop Jordan once joked about, where people pawn their past and buy it back as history. Haley wasn't just running to Kelsey's. She was stashing something first. A second phone. A paper trail, a way to edit the story after the fact. I wasn't going to chase her feelings. I was going to chase the objects. Outside, the storm thickened. Streetlights flickered like they were about to quit. I started the engine and pointed the car toward Barrow & Co., my calm sharpening into something colder. Not cruelty, precision. Haley didn't go straight to Kelsey's. She went to the city side first, toward the rundown mall and the strip of old storefronts that only survive because tourists like charming. I recognized the turn because of a place Jordan once joked about, an antique and storage auction shop called Barrow & Co. People in town said it bought junk. People in town also said it bought secrets. Haley pulled into the lot behind it, tires splashing through puddles. I stayed back, lights off, heart steady in that strange calm you get when you're certain. She jumped out with her purse and a small tote bag I hadn't seen before. She kept looking around like she expected cameras, like she expected me. Inside the shop, the power flickered. The storm made the windows rattle. A bell dinged when Haley pushed the door open. I followed a minute later. The place smelled like old wood, dust, and cheap incense. Shelves of mismatched glassware, stacks of boxes with handwritten labels, a counter with a man behind it, heavy-set, gray beard, reading a paperback like he didn't care about anyone's emergency. Haley stood at the counter, voice low and fast. I couldn't hear the words, but I saw her slide something across. A phone. A second phone. Small and dark. Burner. The man behind the counter looked up, eyes slow, and nodded toward a back room. Haley followed him like she'd rehearsed it. My pulse finally ticked up, not rage, timing. I moved closer, keeping my head down, listening. The man said, "You sure?" Haley's voice shook. "I just need it held, just overnight." "Cash only," the man said. Haley dug in her purse. Bills, quick hands. I stepped into the aisle and let her see me. Haley froze like I'd slapped her. "Evan," she whispered. The man behind the counter looked between us and decided he didn't want to be in the middle. He drifted back to his book, like he could read himself out of the scene. Haley's eyes were wide. "Why are you following me?" "Because you took my ring and your backup phone," I said. "I didn't take—" she started. I raised my eyebrows. "You came here to stash something. That's not a normal move for an innocent person." Haley's breath came fast. She glanced toward the back room, then toward the door. "Give me the phone," I said. "No," she snapped, and then tried softer. "Evan, please, you're scaring me." "I'm scaring you?" I said. "You set up a P.O. box and put Kelsey's email on my rent notifications." Haley flinched. Then her face hardened. "You're controlling," she said, loud enough for the man at the counter to hear. "This is why I needed protection." The old trick. Paint me as the threat so her choices look like self-defense. I kept my voice calm. "Hand me the phone, Haley. Then go pack your stuff." She shook her head. "No." She bolted. Not a movie sprint, a desperate run in boots on wet pavement. I followed her out into the storm. She jumped into her car, tires spinning, and shot out of the lot, nearly clipping a parked pickup. I got back in mine and followed, wipers slapping hard. She headed across town now toward Kelsey's neighborhood. I could see her brake lights pulse ahead of me like a heartbeat. On the dash, the clock jumped minute by minute. I kept thinking about how Haley used to make lists for everything. Grocery runs, packing, the seating chart she obsessed over. That same brain was moving now, but not toward building a life with me, toward protecting herself from the mess she made. My phone buzzed again. Voicemail, more calls. I didn't answer. I didn't want another voice telling me to calm down, when calm was the only thing keeping me out of a headline. Ahead, Haley's car fishtailed once on a wet turn. For a split second, I imagined her spinning into a ditch, and I hated myself for even having the thought. I wasn't chasing her to watch her crash. I was chasing her so she couldn't crash my name. Jordan texted again, a screenshot of Kelsey's caption. "If he shows up, call someone." I read it and felt irony settle in. They were the ones calling people. They were the ones hiding things. And I was still the threat in their story now. Halfway there, the storm cut the power again. Streetlights blinked off. The world turned darker, meaner. People drove slower. Haley didn't. She turned onto Kelsey's street and slammed into a spot half on the curb like rules were for other people. A black SUV sat there already, crooked. Not Kelsey's, not Haley's. I pulled up behind and destroyed my engine. Haley got out and ran to the porch. The porch light clicked off. Then the front door opened. A man stepped out. Trent Maddox. For a second, my brain refused it. Then it locked in. Same circle, same cover, same lie. "Why are you here?" I asked, voice steady. Kelsey called me, Trent said, like that explained anything. Said you were making a scene. I'm watching one, I said. Inside the doorway, a woman's voice cut sharp and tired. What is he doing here? A woman stepped forward into the dim stormlight, hair pulled back, eyes hard. Nina Vale. Trent flinched. That flinch told the whole story. Nina looked at me. Who are you? Evan, I said. Haley's fiancé. Nina stared at Trent. Fiancé? You said you were on a work trip. Trent opened his mouth, then closed it. Haley appeared behind them, clutching a velvet box in her fist. The ring. Kelsey stood behind Haley, arms crossed, expression tight, like she was still trying to steer the narrative. Lightning flashed. The power flickered again. The porch went dim, then dark. Nina pointed at Haley. Who is she? Trent said. Nobody. Haley's face hardened. Nobody. I pulled out my phone and played the clip. No speech, just proof. Nina watched, went still, then said quietly, You let me plan a life with you while you did this. Trent hissed, Stop. Kelsey stepped forward. Okay, everyone calm down, this is getting out of hand. I looked at her. You put your email on my rent notifications. Kelsey's smile twitched. Excuse me? The P.O. box, the rerouted autopay, the backup exit, I said. Haley snapped. It was to protect myself. Nina barked a laugh. From consequences? Down the street, yellow lights turned the corner, slow and steady. A tow truck. Trent saw it and went pale. What did you do? I made a call, I said. Your SUV is parked illegally, half on the curb, blocking the sidewalk. Kelsey ran down the steps, waving her arms, shouting at the driver. The tow driver didn't care. He had paperwork. Haley stepped toward me, rain soaking her hoodie. Evan, please. Give me the ring, I said. Kelsey shouted, Don't! Haley hesitated, then bolted for her car like control was a place she could drive to. The velvet box slipped, bounced once, and skidded across the wet driveway toward the street. I lunged and caught it before it hit a puddle. Haley screamed my name and shoved me. I didn't shove back. I just held on. Behind us, chains clinked as the tow truck started hooking Trent's SUV. Nina stood in the rain like a verdict. I held the ring box up. This is mine. The whole block went black again. In the dark, Haley whispered, You can't just walk away. I leaned in so she could hear me over the storm. I can, I said, and I am. I turned toward my car with the box in my fist. Behind me, her sob turned into something mean. I didn't look back. Back at the apartment, the power was still out. The building's hallway smelled like wet coats and somebody's burnt dinner. I climbed the stairs by phone light and unlocked the door like I was coming home from a normal night. Inside, the room felt wrong. The furniture was the same, the pictures on the wall, the throw blanket Haley bought because it made the couch look cozy. But the air was different, like the place knew it had been lied to. I set the velvet ring box on the table, then I finished what I started. I removed Haley's access to my personal accounts. Not vengeance, safety. I changed passwords, turned on alerts, set my credit freeze. The boring moves that keep your future from getting chewed up by someone else's panic. I emailed the landlord. Engagement ended, relationship dissolved, please direct all future communication to me. No drama, just dates and names. Then I forwarded Dana Holloway's letter to myself and printed it. 2 pages. Firm language. Clear boundaries. The kind of thing you read and realize the story is over, even if someone keeps talking. At 12:03 a.m., the power returned with a soft pop. The fridge hummed. The heater sighed. The living room light blinked once and stayed on like it was trying to pretend it had always been there. At 12:17 a.m., keys rattled in the lock. Haley walked in, soaked, hair plastered to her cheeks, eyes wide and wild. No Kelsey, no friends, no Trent. Just Haley and whatever was left after the tow truck lights and the dark porch and Nina's face. She stopped when she saw the ring box and the folder open on the table. "You took it," she said. "I recovered it," I said. Her throat moved. "Evan, please. It wasn't anything physical." I met her eyes. It was betrayal. She stepped closer, hands empty and raised like she was approaching a scared animal. "You don't understand. The girls were pushing me. Kelsey kept saying it was my last night. Everyone was watching. I froze and then—" "You kissed him," I said. Haley flinched. "It was a mistake." "A mistake is ordering the wrong appetizer," I said. "This was a choice." Her eyes filled. "I love you." The words sounded practiced, like she knew the line was supposed to work. "I loved you," I said. Past tense. Haley's phone buzzed and she jumped like it shocked her. She looked at the screen and swallowed. "It's Marla," she said. "The venue told me to stop emailing them. They won't speak to me." "Correct," I said. Another buzz. Voicemail. She didn't listen. "My mom is calling. My aunt. Everyone." "Because the narrative slipped," I said. Haley's face twisted. "Narrative. Stop using that word like I'm some monster." "You used it," I said. "You said you needed to fix it before I ruined your life." Haley stared at me, breathing hard. "You did ruin my life." I shook my head. "I stopped funding a lie." She stepped closer again, voice rising. "You canceled everything without asking me. You humiliated me. You went after Trent. You dragged his girlfriend into it. You called a tow truck like you were some—" I held up a hand. "I called a property manager about an illegally parked vehicle. That isn't going after anyone. It's following rules. Something you might want to try." Haley's face went bright with anger. "You think you're so perfect. You're cold. You're calculated. You're—" "Awake," I said. She paused, blinked fast, then tried a softer approach, the voice she used when she wanted something. "Evan, we can fix this. Therapy. A break. Whatever you want. Just don't end it like this." I looked at her wet shoes leaving dark prints on the floor. I looked at the ring box between us. "You're not asking for us," I said. "You're asking for the story back." Haley's lip trembled. "That's not fair." "Fair?" I said, and my voice stayed low. "Fair was me believing you when you said love you while you kissed someone else." She opened her mouth, then shut it. Her eyes went hard again. "If you throw me out, I'll call the police." "Call them," I said. "I'll tell them the truth. You're welcome to take your personal things. I'm not touching you. I'm not keeping your documents. I'm ending an engagement. That's civil." Haley's eyes flicked to the folder. "What's that?" "Confirmations," I said. "Cancellations, lease communication, the timeline." She reached for it. I slid it away. "You don't get to rummage through my boundaries like they're your purse," I said. Her face flashed with humiliation. "So what? You're just going to lock me out of my life?" "I'm going to let you take your stuff," I said, "and then I'm going to close the door." I walked to the closet and pulled out 2 empty moving boxes, the ones we'd saved for wedding gifts, cardboard waiting patiently for reality. I set them on the floor by the door. "Pack." Haley stared at them like they were a punishment. "You're evicting me." "I'm ending it," I said. She shook her head, voice rising again. "You can't rewrite everything overnight." I lifted the folder and tapped the top page. "Sometimes peace looks like paperwork." Haley flinched like I'd slapped her. Her phone buzzed again. She answered without looking, voice sharp. "What, Kelsey?" She listened, and her face changed in a way that made my stomach tighten. "What do you mean you can't?" Haley hissed. "You told me you'd handle it. You told me—" She stopped, stared at the wall, then whispered, "Fine. Fine. Just fine." She hung up and looked at me like she wanted me to feel guilty for her losing her handler. "Kelsey won't answer now," she said, bitter. "Because Kelsey protects Kelsey," I said. "Always." Haley's eyes flicked to the ring box again. Give it back. No, I said. You can buy your own symbol next time. She made a sound like a laugh and a sob at once. You're cruel. I'm honest, I said. Haley's shoulders rose and fell. She looked around the apartment like she was seeing it for the first time, like it wasn't a stage anymore. Then she started grabbing things. Not everything, just the essentials. Clothes, shoes, makeup bag, the framed photo of her and her sister. She didn't touch the shared furniture. She didn't touch the kitchen stuff. Those things weren't hers. They were the life she thought she'd keep. She moved fast. Like if she packed quickly, she could outrun the shame. I didn't help. I didn't stop her. I just watched and kept the ring box in sight. At one point, she turned toward me, eyes wet, and said, You think you're going to be fine without me? I held her gaze. I was fine before you. I'll be fine after you. Haley swallowed and nodded like she hated that it was true. When the first box was full, she dragged it into the hallway. The building's lights were on now, bright and normal. A neighbor's door cracked open, curiosity peeking out. Haley froze, then lifted her chin like she was walking into a party, not out of a wreck. She came back for the second box. At the door, she paused, voice low. If you do this, everyone is going to think I'm the villain. I looked at her, at the wet hair, at the mascara, at the phone buzzing like a trapped insect in her hand. They already saw the video, I said. You're not the villain because I ended it. You're the villain because you started it. Haley's face twisted. She reached out like she wanted to grab my wrist, pull me back into the old pattern. I stepped away. I set the boxes in the hallway and opened the door wider. Take what you need, I said. Then go. Haley stood there, trembling, rage and panic wrestling in her chest. I looked at her one last time. You wanted to be single for a night, I said. Congratulations, it stuck. I closed the door. The latch clicked. Small sound. Final sound.